Hello, everybody. Carlos here, and I believe it's important to take a moment and have a discussion about our brother, Damar Hamlin. For those who don't know, Mr. Hamlin last night had a catastrophic injury on the football field. He is a football player for Buffalo Bills. They were playing Cincinnati last night, suffered catastrophic injury. To update, as of latest on it, it's 12:44 p.m. Central right now. This is the latest that Mar is in critical condition. Appears that he actually suffered cardiac arrest, collapsing mid-game against the Cincinnati Bengals on the Monday night game. His heartbeat was restored on the field, and he was taken to Cincinnati Hospital. Tuesday's statement from the family is that basically they're going to update everyone as they see fit, and NFL's postponed games for right now. This is the latest update, and of course, prayers are with this family. I literally wept this morning as I was in the waiting room, went to get my car fixed, and normally I don't watch the news, and certainly last night when I heard about this, I really was averting my eyes from it because I'm an empath and I really get tied into things like this. Certainly, as they were doing coverage on the Today Show, two questions I want to deal with. One of the commentators asked about the feelings and looks on the other players who were distraught when this accident happened last night on the field. And so they had a former Buffalo Bills player giving his expert commentary on it, and he did a good job there. What was more profound than that question was, and I want to make sure I get her name here, Hoda Kotb. She asked about Damar as a person, and that just cut me up. I thought that was fantastic journalism. No shade to the other lady. That was a decent enough question too, but question from Hoda went to the heart of the matter. I believe that sometimes, and I'm raising my hand too, sometimes we otherize athletes and stars, and we're socialized to do so. I want us to fight against that. I am encouraged. I have to say I'm encouraged by the empathy that's going out social media and other forms of communication as it relates to Damar. And in that same vein, I want to have this discussion. So let's talk about who Damar is. And we can talk about football as well. But let's talk about, as Hoda asked, who's Damar? First of all, he is the son of Nina and Mario Hamlin. And I'm smiling as I tell this story. This is this is so akin to the story of many people in the United States, many people of all cultures, certainly of many in the Black culture. They had Damar when they were young. Mario and Nina had Damar when they were both 16. And when you read up on him and get to know more about Nina and Mario, you are, I am, and I imagine that you are too, struck with the point that this young man's parents were were 16, as I said before, and his father had some dealings with selling drugs. This is real. I mean, this is raw. This is what many of us are dealing with. Make ends meet. Mario sold drugs and ended up doing a 3-year bid for it. However, after everything, reading here, Hamlin, and this is Damar, is incredibly proud of his parents and dedicates his success to them. What a wonderful statement. And when you read more about Damar, this is, man, what a wonderful young man of 24 years old. He is, and he is as any of us who are parents. And I'm not saying just those who are mothers or fathers, right? I mean, there's uncles and aunts and cousins, and it's any of those who have any mentoring or eldership of younger folks. This is exactly what you would want out of the young. We give a lot of disparaging comments to this next generation. Now's the time to big up them where it's warranted. Damar is a fine young man, and you learn more about him. You read these articles, and he talks very empathetically about his parents. He says, "Well, I just can't imagine what they must have felt like being 16 years old and being faced with a child. I can't imagine when I was 16 dealing with that." Do you understand the level of emotional maturity it takes to have empathy for your parents at whatever age, particularly to have empathy for your parents at 24? I'm very proud of Mr. Damar. Again, my heart, my prayers go out for this young man and for Mario and Nina, his parents. More about this young man. How about, okay, well, what type of young man is he in his community? Damar he hosts a toy drive in McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania, his home. And I'm so proud of the outpouring of support. I believe that his toy drive charity is now over $3 million over the last 24 hours since the time of his accidents. People are giving. We certainly will give too. Very proud of this young man. You look at his toy drive. This was about a year ago, and see that beautiful baby. That's Rihanna Russell's 2-year-old daughter, Marley. She's playing with, I don't know, y'all help me. Is that Elmo? Is Elmo blue? Is that Cookie Monster? I think that's Cookie Monster. So Damar is helping to put smiles on these babies' faces. What a wonderful young man he is. And it goes on to say that she was one of many children that came to Kelly and Nina's daycare center. Nina is his mom. She's part owner of a daycare center. Goes on to say how nice this is. Then we come down to the bottom, and here's some quotes from Damar. I feel like it's a duty of mine. This is he's 24 now, he's 23 now. Duty of mine, said Hamlin, to share the event via social media. I watched my dad do it many different ways growing up, and I watched how everyone viewed him. I always wanted to bring my people that same feeling. Inspired me to grow up. It's the main reason why I wanted to make it in the NFL, to take care of my people. Hamlin's father, Mario Hamlin, said his son really wanted to be there for the kids, understands the importance of helping the community. He couldn't be there because of COVID at the time. toy giveaway was held at a daycare co-owned by Damar Hamlin's mother, Nina. Isn't this beautiful, y'all? Isn't it wonderful to hear about the person? So I want to thank Miss Miss Hoda for that question, because it touched my heart and it made me want to know more about Damar. And the more I learn about the young man, the more I'm very proud of him. I love this young brother. And I want every good thing as it relates to this crisis that he's going through. All the health and every good thing to be going his way. Only good energy, good thoughts, and good prayers his way for him and his family. The sport of football. Well, before I pivot to the sport of football, when he speaks of McKee's Rocks, first of all, where is McKee's Rocks? Right? I didn't know where it was. Maybe you did. I didn't. McKee's Rocks is northwest of Pittsburgh. It's just northwest of Pittsburgh along the Ohio River. See here? That's McKee's Rocks right there. Got a population of about 6,000, and it's pretty much an urban center, almost 50-50 male to female. He says to help my people is clear that people in McKee's Rocks are in need of help. You have the median income at $27,900 versus almost double in the state of Pennsylvania. So folks are in need there. He's on the right mission field, it will appear. And then you go down here, down, and you look at the crime in McKee's Rocks. And you see the crime status given in occurrences per 100,000 citizens. So you got 844 occurrences of crime per 100,000 citizens. And it's not good, because you look at the national average, you're down there below 200. These Rocks is at around 844, so it's well above the national average. So you have a socioeconomic concern. All this to say that whatever help that Damar is giving to his hometown of McKee's Rocks is well warranted. This is a worthy mission fit. Proud of him for reaching back and giving back. What we're doing as a nation, we're doing what we can to help him in his efforts. I'm very proud of this fact. Now let's pivot a few words about this sport of football. Every time something like this happens, we begin to talk again about violence of the sport. And I love this sport too. But as you get older, you learn that it's almost like that movie, What's Love Got to Do with It, right? As much as I love football, I love me more, and I love my children more. And I do understand the rites of passage aspect. As boys turn to men, there's a need, there's a longing within our inner selves that harkens back to our tribal instincts to want to prove our warrior-like stance. And this is heavily tied to football. Another reason why I love sport, besides this rites of passage aspect of it, it is a path to prosperity. We went over those numbers, the socioeconomic numbers of hometown of Damar, which is not unlike the socioeconomic status of many of our hometowns, particularly those of us who are African American. And we see these sports, certainly football, maybe even primarily football, close second to basketball as a way out, not only for us, but for our immediate people. And then, like Mr. Damar here, even for people in our community. Can't discount that. So path to prosperity, second. First is this longing for a boy to come to manhood, and as proof of his manhood, this longing for this tribal ethos of rites of passage. So there's two reasons that tend to flow towards football. Then there's others. But then we look at the risk reward. The risk is dire. I want to speak life for Damar right now. I don't want to speak death right now. I don't want to speak anything negative. But there are risks involved. I'm not going to detail them right now. Again, I want to speak life. I want to speak love and life and kindness and joy and every positive energy that we can muster as he's in critical condition. Rewards. Have to make this as a culture. We have to begin to have a nuanced discussion about the risks versus the rewards. Don't have to have them today while this man is in critical condition, but I think at some point in the future we're going to have to discuss these things. And then lastly, master versus slave. For me, particularly when I look at the NFL Combine, as they're measuring biceps and measuring how fast an athlete can run and how high they can jump, and it looks like the modern day slave trade. And we put a lot of money behind it, millions of dollars. It's flowing. And so this kind of puts a Band-Aid over what I think is the reality, which is, for me, I don't know that we're the masters. Said stronger, I believe we're enslaved. You look at the fact that football players make up 80% of NFL rosters, and we have three African American coaches. And then we got Lovie Smith. We have man in Pittsburgh. Maybe I'll spot him one more that maybe I don't know. It's not 80%, y'all. 32 teams. That's less than 10%. And then you look at the stark disparity of ownership. All of the owners are non-Black. So do we have any business in the NFL? They've said over and over what they care about us, and which is little. And we begin to have tough discussion. We don't have to have it now. Again, I understand what's going on right now. All of our positive energy is going towards Damar and his family. So let's talk about it in the comments. When can we have a discussion about the risks and about what I'm calling the modern day enslavement of our athletes in the sport of football? There's many articles about white flight as it relates to this game, even in particular with the so-called Ivy Leagues. Few white children are even playing the sport in the Ivy League. And yet we still rush towards it for the causes I said earlier, the benefits I said earlier. The reason why we have this channel, I want to quickly remind us is this is not a yes or no, good or bad, black or white channel. This is a channel for nuanced discussions. Young, Wealthy, and Black Academy is so that we can teach one another how to have discussions in a nuanced way, in a way that goes beyond just blue and red, yes and no, good and bad. The world is not like that. It's much, much more complex. And our problems are vastly complex as African Americans. And so it's going to take an answer that's more complex than yes or no, good or bad. As I said before, the main thing today is we're going to give all of our positive energy, prayers, love, kindness, and joy towards Damar, towards Miss Nina, towards Mr. Mario, towards their families, towards their friends and fellow players and doctors and everyone that has anything to do with this case so that they rise to the occasion and that they are all the better for it. Thank you so much for having this discussion with me. God bless. I love you, beloveds. I sure do. Talk to you soon.